Well, good morning, everybody. It is a real pleasure to be with you today, and thanks for braving the cold and the storm. I think it's wonderful that we've all made it here today. My name is Barney Howard, and I work for Hope Central. I've worked for Hope Central for about 4.5 years now. I started off helping with our debt centre, relieving people from the pressure of unmanageable debt. And I've since kind of worked in various different roles within Hope Central. And as Paul said, my title sounds very fancy. I'm the Director of Community Partnerships. But what that means is I go and tell people about the good work that Hope Central's doing and tell them all about how they can get involved with what we do. And so it's really my privilege to be with you on this Harvest Festival today. What I want to talk to you today is about how we all have more to give. Sometimes we might think, I can only give so much, or this is what, but we all have so much to give. And that's what I want to talk about today based on that reading. Thanks for reading that, Angela. Harvest is a wonderful time where we pause and remember and be thankful, isn't it? We've read, we've had readings, we've sung songs all about being thankful to God for his provision to us. And it is wonderful to be thankful. He is a provider for us. And sometimes it's easy in this day and age to be quite disconnected from a provision to us. If we think about the humble biscuit, maybe not so humble, but what once was very easy kind of farmer to plate is now a lot more complex, isn't it? We've got farmers, we've got people who help the farmers, we've then got those who then create the products and the factories, we've then got the shops and the distribution, and then the shop assistants, and then suddenly the delivery drivers, and then it comes to on our plate. So there's a lot more involved, isn't there? And so sometimes it's easy to be disconnected with this, but it is so good to be thankful. In psychology, they say that it improves your mental health to be grateful for things. And so when we think about these things, when we think about our offering in front of us, we're so grateful for every single thing in that. And it's good to be thankful to God, who is our provider. If we think about each of these people that are involved in the process of creating a biscuit, for example, it's almost so similar in Hope Central. There are lots of people involved, more than you'd probably think. We have the food bank, which is housed here, but we have lots of different people who are involved with, from those who deliver the food from various shops to our food bank. Then we have those who pack those bags and organise all the donations. We then have those who take those donations to the individuals and have a chat with them. We then also have our Hope Centres where people are making teas and coffees. We also have people who get alongside people and give them financial education. And so in the grand scheme of things, there's lots of people involved with Hope Central, and we're grateful for every single person. In this reading that we had, it talks a lot about bread. Now, I am a big fan of bread, I tell you that. Give me a slice of toast with some salted butter on and I'll be happy. But it's come just after we've had the feeding of the 5,000. And we've had this amazing provision where Jesus has provided for this big crowd using a lunchbox. And Jesus cared that these people were hungry when he was speaking to them, and so he provided for them. And these people that kind of gathered around him at the beginning, and they're asking him some questions, and they wanted to know, Jesus, you're useful for us. They were kind of what they were getting at is Jesus was useful for them. They had kind of missed the point. They were looking at, what do we have to do? In the middle there it says, they then said to him, what must we do to perform the works of God? They're looking for an easy, quick solution. A plus B equals C. They're looking for a nice, snappy thing that they can go, what is it we must do? What is it the formula that we must do to kind of have this? And Jesus kind of flips it on his head and he says, you don't have to labour for this bread. The labour is that you don't have to labour, which is an interesting thing, isn't it? What he's saying is that there is this bread freely available for them, this bread of life. And so the labour is to come to Jesus, who is there. Now, I'm from Oxfordshire, and there's lots of colleges in Oxfordshire, and there's one particular called Keble College, which has this beautiful painting of Jesus. And he's at a door, and he's holding a lamp, and it's this typical depiction of Jesus. But the thing is with the door is, there's no handle on the door. And the concept of this painting is that Jesus is at the door waiting for us, but we have to open the door to let him in. This bread of life is freely available for us. And so the people in this, these people that were questioning Jesus, the crowd, they didn't quite get it. They were trying to get, what are these works that we can do to attain this? Jesus, how can we kind of catch you in a bottle and keep you with us? And he was saying, this bread of life is freely available for you. And with this bread, whoever comes to me will never be hungry. Whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. Christ died and stands freely available for us. He died for every single one of you, and he died for every single one of us. And so that's why I say you have truly more to offer. Now, I've got a bit of a prop to help me with this. Now, I've got 2 biscuits here, but I've got the malted milks. Now, I'm a big fan of malted milks. Anybody else a big fan of a malted milk? Hand straight up over there. But if I offered you a malted milk, knowing that in my other hand, I had 4 triple Belgian chocolate cookies, you'd be a bit miffed, wouldn't you? If I offered you, here's the malted milks, and then took these off for myself, you'd be a bit miffed, wouldn't you? And it's a silly illustration, and a malted milk is a wonderful thing, but we truly have more to offer. And if we went to somebody and said, let's have a nice conversation, I'll show you some kindness, but forgot to tell them that we have the bread of life. We have a solution for them. We have the bread of life that will never leave them hungry, that will never leave them thirsty. We do them a disservice, don't we? And at Hope Central, we are more than just about giving people something as an act of kindness or helping them out of their situation. We can transform someone's life by giving them a parcel of food and telling them that they are valued. We can transform somebody's life hugely by getting them debt-free and saying to them, you have no more debt. And honestly, it is a wonderful thing when we're able to say to somebody, you have no more debt, and celebrate with them. But the offer is there. It's the Belgian chocolate cookies in my other hand. And so we always want to offer people and say, we can offer you so much more than just this act of service, this act of kindness. We have this bread that's not just a sustenance for a few days. Yes, we've got a parcel that will keep you going because God cares about that. But also, if you want, we want to tell you about Jesus, who cares about you, who loved you so much that he dies for you. And hope is there for you. And hope is in the form of Jesus. Hope is in the form of a God who cares so much about your situation. Now, when I was working in the debt centre, I used to give, whenever a referral came in, I'd give the client a call just to introduce myself, mainly so they could get used to my slightly brummy twang and they didn't need a translator on the visit. But we'd have this discussion with them, and then at the end of the conversation, I'd always say, if you want, I'd love to pray for you, but it's absolutely your choice. Now, in my 3 years of working in the debt centre, I was refused prayer twice. Which was quite stunning. People in the world are searching. They really are. And they will search in all manner of different places. Me and Paul were talking about this the other day, how people will go to everything to search for something, to search for meaning, to search for community, to search for being loved. But we have the answer. And that's why I say, every single one of you has so much more to give. You have more to give by presenting to somebody that there's a way in which they can be truly loved, that's not hold bars, that as they are loved to their core. And God wants them to be with him. and to offer them eternal life. And so Hope Central is all about transforming someone's life, and we do this through our number of services. And we are so grateful for this food because it's a connection point, isn't it? Food is a great connection point. I lived in France for a while, and the dinner table is the connection point in the day. It can get quite raucous, but at 5 o'clock or after that, you have your dinner and everyone gathers and has their discussions and things. But that's where the connection point is. And for us, we'll hand this food over to someone and we'll say, what's going on in your life? What are you experiencing of life at the moment, and how can we help? Because God cares that they're in debt. God cares that they're out of work. God cares that they've never been taught the skills how to manage their finances. God cares that they've never been taught how to cook or to manage a budget or to manage their well-being. God cares that they're isolated, and that's where our services come in, to show them that God cares. But then it's the other hand of saying, but let me show you more. Here's an invite to show you more and to tell you about Jesus Christ, who died for you, died because he loved you, and rose again to defeat death. And so that's my kind of invitation to you today on Harvest. It's to say, each of you has more to offer. And so if you're speaking to somebody this week and you're offering them a malted milk, think about the triple Belgian chocolate cookies as well. Thank you so much for listening. Really appreciate, and I really appreciate all of your gifts as well for the Harvest donations. Thank you.